enjoy the summer beverages. The summer fun still lasts. Alright, so to kick things off, I was going to do my normal Manhattan. Just keep things real chill, but I realized I had some ingredients to do something a little more interesting. Just to mix things up and make something that's a little more summery. This is the La Florida cocktail. Maybe La Florida. Florida. No way to know. So we're going to use 1 ounce of lime juice, which I had already prepped. 1/2 ounce of this sweet vermouth. And 1 ounce of, calls for Cuban rum originally, but this is Puerto Rican rum, I believe made by Cuban exiles who went to Puerto Rico. I should read the label again to be sure. One ounce of that rum. Then we have 1/4 ounce of creme de cacao. Which is just about all I have. And then we have grenadine. Gonna do 1 teaspoon. And the same with orange curacao. However, I had just run out, so I'm using Grand Marnier, another orange liqueur. This isn't my favorite sub. Grand Marnier is pretty rich, like more of a dry curacao. And then I'm going to add some ice and shake at lower volume. Nicely shaken, and let's strain that out. And I'm just using a rocks glass rather than a cocktail glass since we're just going to be out in the backyard. And the original cocktail, I think, is meant to be very pink in color. It calls for that white creme de cacao, and I used a darker one. So that's part of that coloration, but it doesn't bother me. And of course, I want some garnish. These really great dried blood oranges. I will take one of these instead of the twist of orange peel. Love these blood orange slices, so I'm going to go with that. Alright, and that is our La Florida. Two other bits of prep here inside before we head out. I've melted some butter. And I'm going to add some olive oil. We're going to use this for a finish on the steak. When it's on the grill, just a little bit more salt and pepper. I'm going to season the steak separately. And I'm going to take some thyme leaves, peel those off of here into there. And then I have a clove of garlic, microplane grater, just get that shredded up nice and fine. I dropped a chunk or two in there, but I'm not worried about it. And if I was cooking the steak inside in a skillet, I'd be basting with that. But since it'll be flammable out there, we'll just do a bit at the end to help finish out the crust. All right. And then we have this wonderful New York strip. Let's get some seasoning on there and some pepper. Flip that over. Season this side. Intentionally miss with some fresh cracked black pepper. And then just going to get the edges as well in that overflow. So we're seasoned on all sides. Perfect. We are ready to go grill. All right, we have some hardwood lump charcoal. Going into the chimney starter there. Just to make it exciting, some lighter fluid. And we'll get that lit. And so we'll let that burn and get those coals lit. And we're just gonna kick back for a minute. Really enjoy this part. The chance to just kind of kick back and relax. Enjoy being outside. watch the flame from the coals. Beautiful weather. Wanted to make sure I got in one more grill before the end of summer. Hopefully the weather will stay nice for a bit, but you never know. Summer has really flown by. Definitely wish it had hung around a little longer. I don't know, when you're a kid, summer seems amazing, and then suddenly you have to go back to school. Now they just seem to fly by. The whole year, really. But that's okay, I did some good stuff this summer. Obviously I've been putting a lot of energy into the channel this year, so that's rewarding. And I've also brought it a little bit into some parts of my life, like this, which can be nice. So yeah, it's been good. Change ahead. Just see how it all plays out, but I do love this warm weather. Chance to grill outside like this. Dog is in the underbrush, probably working on digging his holes. You'll probably hear that and the wind, part of the experience. Enjoying this beverage as well, of course. Definitely get a bit of an edge from that Grand Marnier. So ideally I would have had that dry Curacao. Well, that's nitpicking, it's perfectly tasty. Gotta enjoy the summer beverages. The summer fun still lasts. And then of course all fun stops when summer is over. As is the way of things. I don't know, probably dangerous to get philosophical staring at a chimney starter here. Got some John Glenn from the Right Stuff action going on here. Dazzling, sparkling lights like fireflies coming out of the chimney now. I'm not too worried about those. We've had a decent amount of rain here, but once it all dry, I might give a precautionary sprinkle with the hose. Just wouldn't want any of those to flare up. Have a peek here. Definitely nice and hot in there. Starting to get some gray on the tops of the charcoal on top, so we're getting close. Just about usable here. Pop this grate off. there. So I'm going to transfer these into my little grill. All right, let's get things going here. Alright, so splurged a little here. Got a nice New York strip steak. Good marbling in there. Flare-ups. Move that a bit. So I love using this little grill. It's like a Japanese style Kono grill, little one. And it's great for doing something like this, like a steak. I've done steak and salmon or burger. Got the other grill to do larger volumes. But I'm going to be using the method where I flip the steak, building up that crust and using those flips to equalize some of the temperature throughout the steak instead of pumping a bunch of heat into one side. Fire is extremely hot on that far side and pretty darn hot over here. Kind of a cooler corner here. Some larger chunks of charcoal fully blazing in the way that some of the others are. Don't mind a little flare up. We don't want to totally smoke this either. This has that nice thick layer of fat on there. It's prone to melting and creating those flare-ups. I do want to get some sear on all sides. I want that nice caramelization to happen all around the meat to get that wonderful crust. Kind of this other edge as well. So we have a bit of a triangle shape to this piece of steak. Tongs are perfect for this sort of cooking. And I kind of like just sitting here on the deck with this. Could put it up on the table, but really kind of just like doing things simply here. Having this grill preceded having the table anyway, so just kind of got used to it. But sitting here with the dog, always happy for grilling time. Didn't really get much of a sear on this end. It's really juicy and wants to flare up. Same for this side. And just a touch of char on there, so I'm trying to pull it away from that super hot part of the flame for a moment. It's totally fine, just don't want to be excessive with that. Because I think we want a little more time to get the insides up to temperature. And that is Chester, who's found some juices that have sprayed out, because he is an expert at that. Gonna let that rest a moment. Okay, so I think our steak is getting up to temperature where we want it. So I'm going to put it back on for a little bit. And I'm going to hit it with a little bit of our butter mixture. Now this will want to catch fire like the fat from the meat. I'm really using this to kind of glaze and finish off that crust. Add that extra little bit of flavor here on at the end. Yeah, it really wants to go. Alright, so we've got a nice crust on here. So I'm going to pull that off onto my board and just give it a nice little finish of that as well. Alright, so we have our steak ready to go. Grab our slicing knife and let's go ahead and slice. And some of those little fattier end bits are going to make Chester's day. And that is our grilled New York strip. Bon appetit.